Detroit Motor City Tattoo Expo, and I came out here with my co-host, and now we have our man in the chair, Forrest G, manning the cameras. Which feel free to turn around and talk to if you want. The co-host was supposed to be over here, but he ended up doing a tattoo, freaking tattooer. So nothing's permanent here at the remote location, Detroit Motor City, and snagged a warrior within the industry. I'm sitting here with Sean Brown. Now, for those of you who don't know Sean, he's a tattoo artist. He has been tattooing, and we'll find out exactly how long and his whole origin story.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
It's that long, huh? All right. But Sean has been doing a lot in the industry, and I don't want to take away the glory because he's going to be able to wield an amazing story for you. But I'm super, happy to be able to sit down with you, brother. I'm happy they let you sit down right now. And
Yeah, it won't last long.
Yeah.
So
we'll get this done before they come and snatch you up because you're.
they keep looking at me like, "Why are you sitting down?"
You do so much for the show, and I think there's a lot of build up to that. So, thanks, brother, for sitting down. Thanks for taking the time, and let's start from the beginning. Where did you start? Like, where you originally from, brother?
Well, I'm from New Mexico, Las Cruces, a little town.
Mm-hmm.
The better chilies made down there, right?
Yeah.
So we could argue about that one later, but
then Albuquerque. Well, I mean,
yeah,
as long as it's in New Mexico, it's chili capital of the world, bro.
So yeah, started tattooing in New Mexico in '99, and moved to Texas, pretty close. Well, about 2 or 3 years into tattooing, I guess.
Yeah.
So early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Worked in Dallas for a while.
Yeah.
And then off to Philadelphia after a little short stint in Albuquerque, back home,
Yeah.
And then found myself in Austin.
Cool. And now in Austin, is that where you started getting into the supply realm?
I did. I was actually tattooing at your co-host's shop when it all went down.
Yeah.
And there he is. Come on, come sit down.
Wait. Oh. He's gonna tattoo his pickle
for me.
We are not exclusive.
Oh.
That's all right. We'll be back together after this breakup.
Well, Jeremy came by and said hello.
Yeah, so I was actually tattooing in his shop, and supply company came by in a van, and I opened my big mouth with some critiques in front of Jeremy, and Jeremy said, "Well, what are you going to do about it?" Basically,
Nice.
prove it.
Yeah.
So on the next break, I called Tramp up and told him what I wanted to do, and he told me to leave town. I said, "No way." And after some convincing, he allowed me to stay in town in Austin. And it started there.
Yeah.
And started with one van and some friends, and then van just started coming, and people started, wanting jobs, and it just kind of grew.
And this was Republic?
Yeah, this was Republic.
Yeah. Back in what year was this?
2012.
2012?
Yeah.
How long did you own it before you eventually ended up selling it?
Yeah, I became partners with Nexus in 2018.
Okay.
So started in 2012, and it's doing good. It's just over 10 years strong now. So
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. And as you mentioned, you're partnered with Nexus, and this now has you working with Eternal.
Yeah. Shortly after I partnered with them, Eternal came on board, and Tramp asked me if I would come up and be the GM for a while. So, of course, I couldn't turn that down.
Sure.
And COVID hit at the same time.
Oh man.
So I ended up traveling up here to Michigan every week on Mondays and flying home on Fridays for about 2 years. So
that was a rough one. I mean, and I think I know we always kind of talk about the tattoo career, but we kind of glazed over the husband-father part, right?
Yeah. That all happened in between all that.
So no, definitely that type of travel can weigh heavy on it. So I mean, I can only imagine the level of activity and stress and just sheer work involved being the GM of a global leader in the tattoo ink realm. What was like, this is as a tattoo artist, we work so much, but like explain like your day to day. You know, like how did you get through it, and like what did it prepare you for after that?
Being the GM.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so it was a big task, right? And I was taking charge of Eternal after Tramp, which is an even bigger task and huge shoes to fill,
yeah.
right? And he had expectations, and I had my expectations of not letting him down
Of course.
and continuing on what he'd built and founded, right? So, and in between there, tattooing when I still could,
Yeah.
right? Especially doing restorative tattooing
Yeah.
was a big deal. So balancing that with the travel, I just thank God for my strong wife because she was able to take care of the kids
Yeah.
and keep the house together for the most part, right? So,
That's
but day to day, especially during COVID, was really difficult. We were on a skeleton crew,
Yep.
and after that all opened back up, the regulations started getting a lot more intense.
Yeah.
Right? They'd been happening in the EU
Yep.
since the early 2000s, but then we had the Reach implementation, which became really restrictive,
Yeah.
and so that became more of my day to day was trying to navigate through that.
Yeah. When and again, with tattoo artists and tattooing, you know, tradition when you start talking about regulation, right? It's a dirty word and people are shut down and stop listening to it. And I think it's changing. And for those who don't know, and we could potentially share some research in the future, you know, there's a lot going on in the EU when it comes to tattooing. So let's just say things that are going over there we do not want to happen here, but there's that potential. And Sean, you know, you've been really involved with protecting and educating regulators, protecting the industry and educating regulators on, you know, what's appropriate for us as an industry. And I believe like you've had um yourself in harm's way, so to speak, right? You've had your shield up protecting us from things, and you know, I think you could speak to some of the stuff you batted down in the past, right? Maybe some situations that could have happened, but you were able to kind of cut it off at the head.
Yeah, especially here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a lot more. Uh,
It's a long
how do
story.
I say this? It's easier to get things done in your own country,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So here in the U.S., there's definitely some things that were happening before MOCRA that could have been very detrimental to our industry,
Yeah.
right? As far as the EU, they got us involved as much as they wanted us involved,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was more of information grab, right?
I got you.
And they just did what they wanted to do anyways.
Mhm.
Here in the U.S., it took us going to Congress and talking to congressional leaders to try to bat some of this down, you know. And MOCRA is a very, very high level of what it was.
Yeah.
They had very similar rules that the EU has now in the old law, in the old bill. Sorry.
Wow.
And so a lot of the manufacturers did what they could to try to get that taken back down.
Mhm. So essentially, like I just imagine like there's probably a lot of catastrophes that are evaded by special forces, right? You know, like things that happen that we'll never know about. And that's like unsung heroes, right? You know, there's probably, like I said, some special forces guys that have gone out and probably lost their life, um, safeguarding us from something that we never seen. And you've gone out, and thankfully you didn't lose your life, but you've gone out and, you know, defeated some previous bills before MOCRA that kept us from being in even hotter water, is what you're saying. And, you know, again, I always want to take the time to, you know, thank you, because I think that's one of those thankless
Absolutely.
jobs.
Yeah.
Like I said, especially when you tell tattoo artists that you were able to defeat something regulatory wise, I feel like sometimes it's really not appreciated, right? Or really the gravity of it, what it would cost, like time and energy, and
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that. You got to get back to the industry.
Yeah.
Right. And I felt that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
The industry has been really good for me. It's been a blessing.
Yeah.
Right. And I love this industry.
100%.
And it's just about giving back in any way that you can. And that was the way that was presented to me, those opportunities. Right. So, and able to talk to Congress members educate them,
Yeah.
get on the same vocabulary level, right? And then watch it all kind of go through.
Well, that's got to be a crazy experience, is going and talking to Congress men and women, right? You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, most would find that extremely intimidating.
Yeah, and it was.
Yeah.
It was at first.
Yeah.
So especially when you sit with Congress people you don't really like,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you have to. It's just like selling a tattoo. I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta show them your face. You gotta show them your interest. You gotta get them interested. You
Yeah.
gotta educate them, and 99% of them that we talked to didn't even realize that these other lawmakers are trying to add tattooing into this crazy bill.
Yeah.
And one of the bills started by Senator Feinstein over a decade ago,
Oh, wow.
and it just sat there and sat there, and they continue to add stuff, and they got really, I think, scary and concerning for the industry when the House also came up with a bill that was very similar to hers,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so that's when it was like, all right, which bill's going to pass, and which one do we go after? Are they going to combine them, make it even worse, or what
Oh,
are they going
man.
to do? So, and then Mocha hit, and nobody even knew about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the FDA didn't even know about it until it was already passed.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. That wasn't the head of the FDA task force was like on vacation when it happened. They didn't even know until it
Yeah,
came
yeah.
out.
She told me that she was on vacation and had no idea.
Oh,
You
man.
know, and
That's
they called
government.
her and had to figure it out. But so,
I mean, when you and it just we won't go too far down this rabbit hole, but you know, when you want to go and like talk to a congressperson like you in Capitol Hill, you got to be dressed to the nines. You got to like corner them, like what, like give us kind of a visual journey through having a conversation in Capitol Hill, just for fun.
so it you walk in, you know, obviously security's tight, you know,
Yeah.
just like an airport.
Yeah, yeah.
So you go through there, and as you're walking in, it's kind of surreal because there's these congressmen and women that walk by you, you
Yeah.
know, go through the same lines that you're in, that you see on TV almost every day.
Wow.
You know, and you realize, you know, they're real people at that point.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and when you go into their office, you're really dealing with their staff.
Mm.
You know, the staff really runs everything.
Sure.
They run the show, and kind of warm the staff up. They, depending on where they're at, or what state they're from, they offer you something from their state. Like there's a congressman from Texas who offers only Dr. Peppers, you know, to his visitors. So
Really?
it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get to meet with the congressman,
Yeah.
and explain your story and explain why you're concerned, and show how many businesses can be affected. You
Yeah.
know, how many people are affected, and show them that we're just not all crazy tattooed people.
Yep.
Either.
Yeah.
You know.
And so you know, I just have this vision in my head. You're sitting down with your Dr. Pepper, right? And you're talking to this Congress man or woman. And you know, I think that it's important to share that I'm sure that they look at you as a representative, probably, and they want to know that you're representing a constituent base, right? And that's why it's so important for us as an industry, as practitioners, to come together, right? And have a unified voice.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was always really clear when I was there by myself without other manufacturers, but very clear that I don't speak for the entire industry, you know, just to put that out there. But I'm there to make sure that the industry is safeguarded. But the first question they ask you is, do you know how many tattoo shops are in my district?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? And so you kind of got to know ahead of time where they're from, you know, do a little research.
Yep.
And show them how it affects them. There's one congressman who was awesome from LA, and his son actually was doing an apprenticeship.
Oh, that's cool.
And so he got heated real quick, you know,
Yeah.
and he did a lot of work for us, questioning the FDA on things and really just interrogating them.
That's cool.
And I think he alone helped get a bunch of stuff knocked down
Nice.
for us.
Nice. That's amazing. No, you're right. That's what moves mountains, right? You know, when politicians are wanting to make decisions, they want to know how it's affecting their constituent base, and I think it's important for them to know, you know, that tattooing isn't just a bunch of crazy people, right? We are a vast, colorful group, maybe a little crazy, but we also engage with all demographics. Like we're just like you briefly touched on. I know we kind of glazed over. I mean, you've been in the like the paramedical realm, right? You know, you've been helping
Right,
people
right,
navigate the hurdles of post mastectomy
right,
surgeries, right? Um, so it's important for them to, and it's important for us to know that if we want to have positive change in any part of the world, that we need to have this unified front, you know,
right,
or this that we are a part of a community, right? We're not all individuals, right?
right, right. And you got to really set aside your differences and
Yep.
a lot of your histories
Yeah.
with individuals. You got to
Mhm.
set that aside
Yep.
because at the end of the day, they're coming after all of us.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
and it sucks to say it that way, but that's where we're at. I think we're tattoo in general, the industry in general. I think a victim of our own success in a way. And we put ourselves out there and you know with TV shows and
Yeah.
ever since Miami Ink, you
Yep.
know,
Yep.
it's been happening and now we're taking a little bit more seriously.
Yeah.
But in order to be taken more seriously, we need to unite and go be able to talk to these congressional leaders and these regulators
Yeah.
and really educate them before they start putting rules down that will devastate the industry.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, they don't have any experience, so they need to get our knowledge and wisdom. So, well, and you've been there. You've been able to insert yourself into the right conversations. Obviously, a lot of positive efforts have come out of your activities. You know, a lot of positive benefits that come out of your efforts, which we truly appreciate. And I mean, we still got the work. You still got your work cut out for you, right? And so moving forward, you know, what is Sean looking at here coming up? You know, and we can dip out. We can talk about you know what else is going on for you in your career moving forward with everything that you've been dealing with.
Uh, besides all this work,
Yeah,
you know, I'm getting back to the chair. You know, I miss tattooing on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So that's been one of my chief definite aims, you know, of this last year is to get back in the chair a little
Yeah.
bit more. So luckily, Jeremy's been allowing me to come to the shop and
That's cool.
take clients and stuff. So it's been good.
So if someone wanted to get some tattoo work by you, go to your Instagram or
Yeah, always that. You know, give out nipple tattoos all day. You know, so
oh, that's cool.
so yeah, they can reach me through the Instagram page.
Nice. Okay. Um, you know, with everything going on, Eternal not back in the chair. I mean, anything you want to leave us with, Sean? Any like other lasting wisdom, or you know, from your perspective, being so versatile?
I'll just go back to uniting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be the most important thing coming up. There's a lot of news stories right now coming out, and people need to know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And people need to unite and get involved, get active. From everything from joining the APT to other groups out there, right? And to even just emailing or mailing their congressman.
Yeah.
That's huge to let them know that you're there. Each congressional district has about 700 to 800,000 people in it. And so for the House representatives. So it's important that they see how many people that we involve ourselves with as tattooers, right?
Yeah.
Who the clients are.
Yeah.
They need to know that.
Yeah.
So we got to continue to unite. The fight's not over.
Mhm.
So it's only going to get crazier, right?
Mhm.
And so it's important to sit it down and start being as professional as possible.
Yeah.
And building the industry though.
I respect that, and I think the nugget I took out of that too is to not just for the tattoo artists to come together, but also to share our passions with our clients who can stand up for us too, right? You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the clients are our best resource.
Yeah.
You know, I think they need to understand what's going on
Yeah.
and how it affects their choices of what they're doing with their bodies. Super important.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. Well, I think we probably went longer, but luckily no one's came over to get you yet, so we'll
Sorry, I'll hide out for a little bit
you're gonna
longer.
hang out
That's
a
all
little bit
right.
longer. But again, I know you know, with your efforts with the industry are much appreciated, brother. And you know, to pay it back to you, you know, and I hope that anyone that watches this realize that there's people out there doing this type of activity for you, whether you know it or not. And I don't think Sean does it for anyone's approval. He loves tattooing, but it's important to recognize that he's there, and we want to thank him, and that you could thank him if you want to get some nipple tattoos. Or I think you want to get back into some more new school or what?
Yeah, more some stylized stuff.
Nice.
Okay. I'm like Jeremy as I get older. I like doing fun tattoos.
Fun tattoos.
Do something fun.
Yeah.
Don't have to be serious all the time.
No, you gotta have a good time.
Yeah.
Like you get to do pickle tattoos, right?
Yeah. Instead of hot dog the other day. What's going on with that?
Yeah, fruit tats. Well, cool. That would be amazing. Get your fun pickle hot dog tattoo.
Yeah, we got to lighten up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes. So
Throw a nipple on that pickle. But
could always hide a nipple and everything.
yeah, you could hide other
all
things.
kinds of bodily objects, right?
But definitely check you out at Sean Brown on Instagram.
Sean Brown Tattoos, yeah.
Sean Brown Tattoos, very cool. Again, from I'll speak for the industry, for the tattoo community. Thank you, Sean, for everything you've done, brother. And we appreciate you, and we know that we can sleep a little bit better at night knowing that you're out there fighting for us, brother. So
thanks, Ben.
thank you,
Appreciate
brother.
it.